What's up, guys? Brian back from the PT channel here to talk about some Walking Dead and will Maggie keep the baby? What's going on with Maggie and thoughts, discussions about Maggie and her baby. So with all our videos, we want you to post comments, questions, things you liked, you didn't like, just really be interactive with all our videos. We appreciate that and your time to really check our videos out, and we continue the channel to grow. But let's talk about Maggie and the baby there. First and foremost, let's see, hopefully she will keep the baby. This is her on the comic book on there with baby Herschel. So the story arc of Glenn, Maggie, the baby, and Negan either has to come true or they have to have another plan for season 7 and beyond. So we're going to see if to keep the baby, if Glenn dies by Negan or whatever. But the bruising was pointed out for a reason. But what was the reason? Let's talk about what possible reasons it could be. Now, bruising causes from trauma or injury. You just can't get a bruise just from standing around there. Also, it's either internal injury or traumatic injury from a fight or something. And she was in a fight, and she took some abuse when she was captured by the Saviors, by a couple of different things. But the main one was the fight here with the woman Savior. She took some bumps and bruises from the fight, that's for sure. And she's against the wall and everything, and that was on her back and her side and everything. So she put up a good fight, but she clearly took some damage, so it clearly could be from there. It was also the guy here took a little bit of damage when they were fighting before Carol took his legs out or whatever before that there. But so some people are thinking her bruising could be kidney damage or her body is shutting down, but we think it's the trauma when she was captured. Now, she escaped being captured in a fight and everything. Let's hope she doesn't lose the baby, all that she's been through. She has to keep the baby for sure, Maggie is clearly being made into her comic part, so no reason for her to cut her hair unless she was going to emulate the comic. I mean, she's going to emulate the comic with this haircut. It looks just like the picture at the beginning. So she either has the baby or not. But either way, I think she becomes the leader of the hilltop. Now, she said, I have to keep going, and I don't want anything to get in the way. Getting in the way. So what does that mean? Is that her hair? Is it Glenn? Is it the baby? Is it complications? The problem, she has to keep surviving and moving on. She's got a big part coming up and she needs to do that. So will she have to make a decision about the baby? Does The Walking Dead want another baby? Does having a baby hinder Maggie in her survival? That's some questions that you need to ask. And I think it does hinder her chance for survival of having a baby, that's for sure. But she has to be having some complications from the pregnancy, from doing too much. We think it's a big example of that too. She needs to be on bed rest. Also, if she has the baby, who's going to babysit another baby? The group already has Judith. Father Gabriel's taking on that role. They got to find diapers and baby food and all that other stuff too. But there's just some other questions about a baby. There's just general things. So maybe The Walking Dead has that answered or not. But Maggie probably has to do. She's exhausted here. She's standing working too hard. Look at that picture. And Michonne said in bed with Rick, Maggie has us on a schedule. So they've been looking at it for a long time. Now the pickle theory. Now let's talk about the pickle theory, and because it caused that amount of pain. I doubt it, but you never know going forward with that. But I doubt it's from bad pickles. But either way, they have to get to the hilltop to save Maggie and the baby, and that would be to stop them. So that's kind of why this happened. So the writers ultimately have to make the decision if Maggie or will have the baby or not. Maggie's becoming stronger each season and should continue to have a big part. She has to get to the hilltop, and that's what it is to keep the baby. She's got to stay strong to do all that. Like, share, subscribe, tell us what you think, and thanks guys for being a part of our channel.